Nigeria consumes 1.6 billion liters of milk annually, but only produces about 40% of our consumption, leading to importation of about $1.5 billion worth of dairy products annually. The federal government is, however, poised to change the narrative, and the Vice President recently unveiled a national dairy policy with a target to increase milk production, processing, and marketing. Tonight, we are highlighting the focus of the national dairy policy and the impact it will have on the nation's dairy subsector, as well as the opinions of stakeholders during the 2024 World Milk Day. But before then, we have a news segment. I am Gabriel Ojile, your regular anchor.
Every part of Nigeria has something to offer.
Transforming agriculture in Nigeria starts with news from the ministry as well as the agricultural sector. Let's get highlights from recent events.
It is worthy to remember that Nigeria is the most populous country.
The Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, has called on West African leaders, development partners, and veterinarians on the need to have more synergy to eradicate peste des petits ruminants, PPR, in the region. The minister, speaking at the third Peste des petits ruminants Roadmap and Blueprint meeting for West African countries held in Abuja and organized by Food and Agricultural Organization in collaboration with West African countries. Senator Sabi Abdullahi further stated that Nigeria has put a lot of resources in vaccination campaigns by procuring 12,000 doses of vaccine for the vaccination exercise, building of diagnostic centers, as well as capacity building. He said the ministry has a target to vaccinate 75% of sheep and goats against the disease. The minister added that the transborder disease requires more synergy among stakeholders in order to eradicate the disease in the West African sub-region.
Despite our progress, the challenges still remain, and this includes the funding gaps, logistical hurdles in reaching remote areas, and the need for continuous training and capacity building for our veterinary workforce. To address these challenges, we will strengthen our partnership both regionally and internationally, and mobilize the necessary resources to support our concerted eradication efforts. Cross-border collaborations remain critical for us to make a meaningful progress and achieve desired results. As we convene over the next few days, I urge all participants to actively engage in discussions, share insights, and collaborate on innovative solutions. The roadmap and blueprint for PPR eradication will require meticulous planning, robust implementation, sustained commitment from all stakeholders, and effective cross-border collaboration with neighboring countries. Let us leverage this opportunity to reaffirm our dedication to a PPR-free West African region.
While speaking with journalists during the meeting, Nigeria's team leader of Emergency Center for Transboundary Animal Diseases, Otto Vene Mahinda, stated that the expected outcome of the meeting is for West African countries to develop their own strategies for the roadmap of the region to eradicate the PPR by 2030.
In the past, we discussed a global roadmap to fight this disease, and we thought that it is possible if we were in collaboration with World Organization of Animal Health, the EPS, the African Union Commission. We put together a Pan-African roadmap, which we want to reflect on in West Africa through the 15 countries of ECOWAS. So we are discussing this roadmap here now, from which each country will develop its own strategic plan. We are saying that we can control this disease by 2030 by doing vaccination. Vaccination is the main option to control it, because when you vaccinate sheep or goats, they are 100% protected. If you know that you can vaccinate a disease and be 100% protected, so we can really stop it.
In a separate interview, the Global Coordinator, PES Deputy Global Eradication Program, Dr. Njumi Felix, extolled the Nigerian Veterinary Research Institute, VOM, NVTI, in Plateau State in vaccine production and challenged the country to be proud of the achievements of NVRI and use it as a training center for other African countries and produce the vaccine for other countries.
VOM is also the vaccine producer. Why not boosting the capacity of VOM to produce vaccine not only for Nigeria, why not for the region, or why not even for Africa? Why the vaccine produced in VOM cannot be sent in Asia? By the way, Nigeria has the legacy because the only vaccine that they are using around the world, there are two seeds of vaccine that they are using around the world. One from India and the second one is Nigeria 75 because it was discovered in Nigeria in 1975. And this vaccine is used in all countries around the world except India. Therefore, Nigeria should be proud of this and then try maybe to make sure that how are we able to boost VOM production so that we position VOM as where the vaccine was identified and make it as excellent center for anybody or anybody else in Africa, or why not from outside Africa.
The Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, has urged provosts and other leaders of agricultural colleges to ensure that they contribute their quota to the renewed hope agenda of the present administration. The Minister of State gave the charge while addressing the National Committee of Heads of Agricultural Colleges and Related Disciplines that paid him a courtesy visit in his office in Abuja. Aliyu stated that agricultural colleges must ensure they utilize their budgets in developing new curriculum and training in line with innovations in the agricultural space. He added that colleges also have roles to play in giving technical advice to lawmakers and the executive in carrying out some projects that would be of great benefit to the colleges and their communities.
You are a very important, agency or set of agencies that can contribute to the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I want you all to open your eyes and bring to bear your expertise and experience and knowledge to providing leadership and direction to what your various colleges are going to contribute. And at all times, please don't just be an what do they call oasis in the desert. Don't be an oasis in the desert. Support, do outreach that support your communities. That way your communities will have a sense of belonging. They will feel a sense of the governance.
Speaking during the visit, the Executive Secretary, Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, ARCN, Professor Garba Hamidu Sharubutu, appreciated the Minister of State for his past roles in ensuring the amendment of the ARCN Act, which has given the colleges constitutional backing in the affairs of the boards for technical education. He added that the colleges would work in line with the directive of the ministry.
One thing is very clear, sir, that your messages to the colleges have reached them, and they have heard your direction. They have heard your, your marching order for them in terms of quality of their activities, as well as making sure that they concentrate more on the issue of skill acquisition. We met last week, and they said they will find time to come and actually pay this courtesy call. And in the process, you know, sir, that we cannot call without actually laying one or two things after giving you some of the positive developments that we have had. That is the essence of my visit.
Also speaking, the chairman, National Committee of Heads of Agricultural Colleges and Related Disciplines, Jude Opara, appreciated the ministry and the ARCN for their support to the colleges and appealed for more support to employ more professionals into the system in order to get accreditation for some of their programs.
So I want to thank the ministry and the council in various ways they've assisted the colleges in ensuring the realization of our mandates, especially with regards to the staff we are allowed to recruit into the system. The colleges cannot move forward without adequate human resource. We cannot have our programs accredited without adequate human resource. We've done that, sir, and we are still pleading because we still have some of the programs unaccredited as a result of inadequate manpower.
Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security and Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) partner to disseminate NIMET's Seasonal Climate Prediction (SCP) to farmers across the regions and entire Nigeria. NIMET's SCP for 2024 forecasts a normal onset of rains over the northern states. Borno, Abia, and Akwa Ibom states will have early onsets of rains. Rain is predicted to end early in states of Yobe, Jigawa, Sokoto, Kebbi, Kano, Kaduna, Plateau, Nasarawa, Taraba, Gombe, Bauchi, Cross River, Ebonyi, Ogun, and Lagos states. While there's a late prediction for cessation of rains in the southern states of Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Ondo, Ekiti, and parts of Edo, Delta, Ogun, Oyo, Kogi, Kwara, FCT, Niger, and Kaduna states. Temperatures are predicted to be warmer than normal in most parts of the country from January to May. Download the full SCP report on www.nimet.gov.ng or contact the State Ministry of Agriculture in your state. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security.
The dairy subsector of Nigeria's economy holds a lot of potentials in ensuring nutrition, job creation, and economic growth of the country, but it is faced with many challenges. The National Dairy Policy recently launched by the federal government is designed to address challenges and tap the potentials of the dairy industry in Nigeria. In our next segment, Records of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, we are focusing on the unveiling of the policy document and objectives of the document, implementation strategies, as well as the expected impact. Keep watching.
Available data has shown that Nigeria has over 76 million goats, 43.4 million sheep, and 18.4 million cattle, 140,000 camel, among others. These are milk-producing animals. Despite these numbers of milk-producing animals in Nigeria, Nigeria only produces 40% of milk consumed in Nigeria. This is due to many challenges in the dairy industry in the country, which include poor animal husbandry services, high number of low milk-producing animals, inadequate and low-quality feed, prevalence of transboundary diseases, inefficient animal disease management, lack of adequate cold room and milk collection facilities, diminishing grazing areas, limited access to water, effect of climate change, among others.
Addressing the challenges in the sector.
To address these challenges, the federal government on 4th of June 2024 in Abuja unveiled a nation dairy policy. The unveiling ceremony was performed by the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Kashim Shettima, at Nigeria Air Force Conference Center, Abuja. The Vice President was represented by the Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President on Agro-Business and Productivity Enhancement, Dr. Kingsley Uzoma.
In fulfillment of the promises of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to address different social economic challenges in the country one by one, we take the bold step of unveiling this national dairy policy as our action towards addressing the challenges in the sector.
For him, the policy will address the challenges in the dairy subsector.
We believe that this national dairy policy is an instrument that will help us to accelerate, to pace towards the finishing line of import substitution, foreign exchange savings through import substitution from the dairy subsector, and foreign exchange earning through dairy production and exports to at least the African region, leveraging the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. So it is the belief of that foreign exchange saving and foreign exchange earning and nutritional security, and also national socioeconomic and demographic cohesion, because we believe full implementation of the contents of this policy will lead to a significant reduction, if not total elimination, of the malaise, the farmer-herder crisis.
Traditional dairy farming practices date back to the 19th century, with Fulani pastoralists and other ethnic groups keeping cattle for milk and meat. During the colonial era, exotic breeds were introduced and dairy processing began. According to the Director, Animal Husbandry Services, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, in the post-independence, the industry experienced decline due to policy neglect, lack of investment, and civil war. However, in the 2000s, the Nigerian government implemented various policies and initiatives to boost the dairy sector, which included the launch of the National Livestock Transformation Plan (NLTP) and the Presidential Initiative on Dairy Production, which aims to enhance local milk production and reduce dependency on imports. For her, the new policy will bring more innovation to develop the dairy subsector.
The journey of the Nigerian dairy industry is a testament of resilience and gradual transformation. From its traditional roots among pastoralist communities to the contemporary efforts towards modernization, the sector has faced and overcome numerous challenges. The combined efforts of government initiatives, private sector investment, and international collaboration has sparked significant improvements in dairy production, processing, and distribution. While hurdles such as infrastructure deficits and competition from import persists, the progress made thus far provides a strong foundation for future growth. With continued support and innovation, the Nigerian dairy industry holds the potential to become a cornerstone of the national economy, contributing to food and nutrition security, employment, and sustainable development.
The National Dairy Policy has identified several cutting-edge strategies to foster the development of dairy industry in Nigeria. These include intensifying the identification and selection of local breed for crossbreeding, strengthening animal health and genetic improvement services, providing feed and feed supplement through input support mechanism, strengthening extension delivery, prioritizing capacity building and management, establishing milk collection centers, facilitating a guarantee farm gate price for raw milk, partnering private investors in the provision of milk bulking and transportation, among others. The Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, while giving the highlights of the National Dairy Policy, stated that the implementation of the policy would create enabling environment, create jobs, import reduction, increase milk production, and special attention to feed and fodder development.
In one area where we need intervention is the area of feed and fodder. And I think with the MSP that has been put in place for feed and fodder industry development, we have already approved that we are going to implement Nigerian Resilience Animal Feed and Fodder System Project, NIRAFS. So that will take home the message of developing our feed and fodder industry, which is necessary if the dairy industry is to make the desired impact and the growth we are projected in this dairy policy.
For the Minister of State, the policy would change the narrative of malnutrition of pregnant women, children, and every other Nigerian.
Here we are as a nation
the nutritional status and micronutrient status of our country is alarming, to say the least. Women and children are suffering. And you know for a fact that a pregnant woman is the source of food for the baby she's carrying. And it's garbage in, garbage out. If what the woman is taking is roughage, do you expect the baby to have anything but roughage going through the system? But if the nutrient content is high, then you expect the child to come out with very solid, health and potentials. So I think we have our job cut out for us, and I want to assure you that we are more than ready.
For the Director, Planning and Policy Coordination, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, the implementation of this policy is also concerned in making sure that milk and milk products are affordable to ordinary Nigerians.
Our major concern in the ministry now is for the sector to ensure that dairy products is made affordable to the citizens. Tea in each family is a prerequisite. No family should live without taking tea, inclusive milk. It's a very good component of nutrition. I remember when the minister assumed duties, one of the companies from Ibadan came for engagement with the minister, and I particularly threw this question to them. What are you doing to bring the price of milk affordable to an ordinary Nigerian? Tea is an important component of food in Nigerian homes, and our children need tea, and the component of it is the milk. So I throw this a challenge to the stakeholders to bring the price of milk affordable for the ordinary Nigerian.
The program is transforming agriculture in Nigeria, and we are giving you the highlights of the recently launched National Dairy Policy. The National Dairy Policy is a policy that received a wide consultation of different stakeholders in government and the private sector. In our next segment, Partnership for Development, we are focusing on the pledge of commitment of other stakeholders to collaborate with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in the implementation of the policy, as well as success stories of actors in the dairy industry and impact the policy would make in their businesses and accelerating the dairy value chain in Nigeria. Keep watching.
Aside the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, other ministries and agencies also contributed to the development of the National Dairy Policy and also pledged their commitment to the implementation.
Milk is also critical and strategic.
One of these stakeholders is the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment.
The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is deepening collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security and other relevant MDAs in the implementation of the National Dairy Policy to address the impediments and by extension set the industry on the path of growth. It is gratifying to say that FMT is a key player and has been actively involved right from the conception, formulation, and approval of the policy by the Federal Executive Council. This is a testimony to the synergy and doggedness and sacrifices of the collaborating MDAs, critical to the growth of the dairy industry. No doubt, the unveiling of the policy marks a milestone worthy of celebration. It is clear that all the collaborating MDAs have their unique mandates and responsibilities in the implementation of the policy. On this note, it is expected that MDAs will diligently and independently execute their respective roles as pertains their mandates and come together as one family when the need arises for the successful implementation of the policy.
The Raw Material Research Council, on its part, said it will support the implementation of the policy through its strategic projects to make raw materials available for the dairy industry.
We at the Raw Materials Research and Development Council has the mandate to make raw materials available for industries. And at a point, we found out that in the dairy sector, we import most of our raw materials. And we considered dairy sector as a strategic sector. That led to the inclusion of dairy in our strategic projects.
The dairy industry actors cut across the herders who milk their animals locally, the Fulani women who sell the raw milk, the commercial dairy producers who keep animals in a ranch for milking, milk aggregation workers, and the processors who develop the raw milk into different products. The commercial dairy ranchers at the moment contribute 5% to milk production in Nigeria, and the National President Commercial Dairy Ranchers Association of Nigeria is optimistic over the national dairy policy and the impact it would have in the dairy industry in Nigeria.
Where we now came together as local producers to form an association that will now fight for the interest of local dairy producers. This we did, and the dairy policy was one area of battle that we all engaged in, and we thank all dairy stakeholders, both the multinationals, the academia, the commercial dairy producers, and above all, the Federal Ministry of Agri and Food Security, without which we would not have achieved what we have achieved. So what we are unveiling today is a collective effort and the resilience and the determination of the Nigerian people.
For the managing director, Sebore Farm, the farm has established a milk processing facilities which can help in actualizing the implementation of this national dairy policy.
2.5 years ago, we commissioned the largest fresh dairy processing plant in Nigeria, powered by solar and batteries. Thank you. The factory has the potential of producing 5 different types of milk products: yogurt, butter, cheese, ice cream, and ghee. Most people don't realize this milk that we're looking at and not actually acknowledging, outside the country, they call it a milk refining system. Just the same way you refine oil and get 14 different types of derivative, the same thing happens with milk. You get 14 different derivatives of milk: evaporated milk, canned milk, whole cream milk, condensed milk, yogurt and all of its flavors, cheese and all of its flavors, long life milk, skim milk, baby formula. There are so many things that come out of this 1 liter of milk that other countries, and I think the representatives from Denmark told you their economy was based on milk, because you will get so many things that are beneficial.
For Sahel Consulting Agriculture and Nutrition Limited, which is one of the key stakeholders that made this policy document possible, the national dairy policy is a veritable compass that would lead Nigeria to greater heights in the dairy industry.
It's a joy for us as Sahel Consulting. Sahel Consulting is not a private investor in the dairy sector. We are not a producer of milk, but we've been very happy to act and serve as this systems catalyst over the last few years, supporting all these very amazing private sector projects and working directly with farmers to make sure that we could actually strengthen their capacities to increase their productivity. And with the dairy policy, we're just very excited. As one of the partners have said, you can't do anything without a roadmap. The very first thing is for you to set a vision and the mission. And that's what the policy document does for us. We now have a roadmap on where we want to be in the next few years. And after that, we come together again, review that roadmap, and really ask ourselves how much progress we'll be able to make and what next thing we want to achieve. And that's why the policy is extremely important, because now it's our moral compass, it's our guide to where we really want to go to.
Thanks to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security and other stakeholders that have made the national dairy policy a reality. It is incumbent on both the government and private sector to ensure the implementation of this policy to transform the dairy industry in Nigeria. This is where we draw the curtains tonight on the program. Keep a date with us again, same time, same station next week for another interesting episode. I am Gabriel Ujile. Have a wonderful night rest and bye for now.